Hey guys, it's your girl Carrie. And is TJMAXX trying to maximize its profits? You bet your bottom dollar they are. And yes, you read the title correctly. TJMAXX is illegally knocking off designer items. How are they able to do that? Stick around and you'll find out. I'm going to be doing a 4-part series on becoming an informed Maxxinista, and that's where I'm going to be sharing all of my tips and tricks on how to shop TJMAXX. So in part 1, this video, I'm going to share with you the concept of licensing and how to authenticate items that come into TJMAXX, because we all know that we go to TJMAXX to get those designer names for discount prices. And in part 2, I'm going to share with you how to decipher the tags that are attached to the items that are sold at these stores, because that's very important in becoming an informed shopper. In part 3, I'm going to share with you other tips and tricks on how to maximize and get the best deals at TJMAXX. And in part 4, I'm going to share with you the items that I love to purchase from TJMAXX. So let's get back to part 1, the focus of this video, licensing. One of the ways that TJMAXX maximize its profits and is able to give you those 60 to 70% off of designer brands is through licensing agreements with these designer brands. So what exactly is a licensing agreement? Well, you have a licensee and a licensor. The licensee in this case is TJMAXX. The licensee takes on all the responsibility of manufacturing, actually making the clothes themselves, distribution, selling, pricing, and everything like that. So basically TJMAXX has its own factories and it makes clothing. It makes some clothing. They have their own fashion designers and things like that. They then broker a deal with a large name brand, a designer brand. So in this case, this example that I'm going to walk you through, we're going to use the designer Tahari. There are several other designers that have licensing agreements with TJMAXX. They include, but they are not limited to, Calvin Klein, Nicole Miller, Rachel Zoe, Christian Siriano, and the list goes on. So the process is TJMAXX makes the clothes, they distribute them, and they put the designer label on the clothing. In return for, lending out their trademark or their, label, the designers get a royalty fee. They get a royalty from TJMAXX for being able to use their brand. Now, the tricky part is that TJMAXX does both. They manufacture and sell their own line of the designer brand's clothing, and they also sell the actual manufactured clothing that the designers make themselves. So you may be left wondering, how do I know what I'm getting? How do I know I actually got the TJMAXX version of, in our case, Tahari, versus the designer's manufactured version, of their product? Well, that's what we're going to walk through today. I'm going to walk you through an example to show you exactly how you can go in to TJMAXX and determine whether or not something is TJMAXX made or it's the actual designer. So let's get started. So in this example, I'm going to be using the brand Tahari. So I went into TJMAXX, I grabbed a couple of Tahari pieces, and I'm going to share with you. You're going to use the same process when looking at all pieces in TJMAXX. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to identify whether or not the piece is a TJMAXX brand. So you're going to grab the garment. You're going to, number one, first look at the tag. It's going to have a tag on it, and in this case, you see the Tahari tag, and as I look at this tag, I don't see any pricing information. So that's giveaway number one, because normally when you purchase a item that comes from the manufacturer, they're going to have a manufacturer's suggested retail price located on the tags, so that this price and this price is the price that is universally accepted by all of the retailers. So everyone has that standardized price. Now you can offer discounts or lower the price if you want in your particular retail store, but this is a suggested price across the board. On this particular garment, you don't see that. You just see the Tahari label with no suggested pricing. The second step that I want you to do is to open up the garment and go down to the tags on the inside where it has like all of the care labels and all the different languages on how to care for the garment, and turn to the very back of that label. And on the very back, there you'll see it. And there on the back, you'll see TJX Europe Waterford, or TJX Europe on it. That means that it was made by TJMAXX factory. TJX is the parent company to TJMAXX, Marshalls, Home Goods, HomeSense, and Sierra Post. So that is how you know that this particular garment is a made for TJMAXX item. So how do I determine whether or not this is an item that is produced by the actual manufacturer? We're going to go back to that manufacturing tags. So on this particular Tahari garment, when I look at the tags, it actually has an MSRP, the manufacturer suggested retail price. And since this has that pricing there, I know that this garment was not made by the factory. So as a general rule, when you're going through TJMAXX and you're looking at their items, I always suggest to look for the manufacturer's tags, not just the tag with the TJMAXX pricing on it. Look for the original manufacturer's tags and look for the pricing, because just having a tag with the designer's logo on it without the pricing does not really give you a full picture as to whether or not that was an item sold in the retail stores. So I would... Now you might say, Carrie, that's cool for most of the purses and most of the clothing, but what about shoes? And that is correct. A lot of times TJMAXX sells designer or premium designer footwear and shoes, and they're normally not in the box like the original manufacturer's boxes. It's usually the box that will have all of the manufacturer's information, like the pricing and things like that. But what you can do when you're trying to authenticate the shoes is looking on the back of the shoes. 9 times out of 10, the shoes will be from a past season. That's why they're able to snatch them up and sell them on the shelves. If you see the past season marked on the actual label, this is going to be the TJMAXX label. It'll say past season and it'll have a price. If it's a past season shoe from a manufacturer, you can actually Google that shoe. That shoe would have been available, nationwide or globally. So then you can actually research that shoe. If it was something that was made by TJMAXX for its stores and labeled for the store, you're not going to find it globally because it's only going to be sold at TJMAXX. So for items that I can't find the MSRP on, I'm going to actually Google that item and see if I can find it at other locations or if it was sold elsewhere. And if it was sold elsewhere, that will give me a little bit of comfort in knowing that, oh, this is an original, authentic, manufactured, made designer item. Now, just because TJMAXX is making their own brand of clothing and putting the labels on them, it doesn't necessarily mean it's better or worse than the brand itself. So for me, you guys know I always preach quality, quality, quality over the brand names. So instead of just looking for the brand name and thinking I'm getting something great, I'm going to inspect my item for quality. I'm going to do a quality check, because even when manufacturers make their own items, there's usually always tiers and levels to the quality. There's like an entry level, a mid tier, and the high end tier. And so you're going to kind of just have to know what things to check for in order to determine whether or not you're getting a good product. Throughout my series on when I'm going to shop, I'm going to include segments like how to check for quality, what I'm doing to actually check for quality to make sure that I'm getting the quality for the price point that I am paying for. So guys, I hope this was a useful tip. I love if you drop a comment below if you found this video helpful, and also leave me some comments on things you would like to see or want me to talk about when I do all of my shopping and fashion series. And until next time, I'm going to keep calm and carry on. Bye guys.